Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you guys doing? Welcome back to my channel, Rosie S. Okay, so today is May 22nd, 21st in the late at night, and 22nd early in the morning. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. We are in my beautiful studio, which is my garage. Yeah. So I'm just gonna go over some topics because it's a little late and my allergies are starting to kick in. Okay, so first I want to go over the fact that some Black Panthers are blocking Chinese restaurants in DC. Now, I understand that there are some, excuse me, I know there's a lot of racism going on in China, in some parts of China, regarding Africans who they are evicting. Africans allegedly, they're blocking them from going to McDonald's and they're sleeping on the streets or whatever. That's in China. Now, I don't know how them blocking the entrance to Chinese restaurants in America is going to help the situation in China. Like maybe if they went over to China and stopped, doing something, I don't know. Or maybe if they were in, some of the countries where, in Africa, where Chinese are heavily populated and blocked their food there. But in America, I don't know if that's going to be, if that is effective. Now, maybe it is. I just don't know. So, more power to you if this can help, with the demise of what's going on, in China against African people. I don't know. Okay, so let's talk about the aborigines in Canada. Life is not that good in Canada. And we talk about, I'm trying to get my phone because I did a screenshot. We talk about how, blacks are being mistreated in Canada, in the United States. But I never even thought about how I think Indians are the original aboriginals in Canada. And I have this right here. Okay, so if you can see, it says the unemployment with African Americans in America is 11%. In Canada, with the Aboriginals, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, it's 14%. Let me see if I can, sorry, I'm just going to see if I can enlarge that because my eyes are not, okay, here we go. Okay, so the unemployment rate versus the national rate. In Canada is 2.1 times. In America, as far as African Americans, is 1.9. The median income in Canada for the Aboriginals is 22,000. African Americans is 23,000 to almost 24. The median income versus the national average is 60%. And African American in the United States is 74. The incarceration rate per 100,000 population is 1,400. Now, African Americans, it's 2,200. So I guess we haven't beat or whatever. And incarceration rate versus the national rate is 10 times. Okay, so it's 10 times the national rate. And African Americans is 3 times. So can you imagine 10 times? I mean, we think it's bad with 3 times in America. Imagine 10 times, okay? The homicide rate per 100,000 population is 8.8 in Canada. Wow. African Americans is 17.3. I didn't know it was that bad. Homicide rate versus the national rate. In Canada, regarding the Aboriginals, is 6 times. In in not San Francisco. In America, it's 3.7 times. Infant mortality rate per 1,000 live births is 11.7 in Canada. In America, it's 12.4 for African Americans. These are all, if I say Canada, if I say America, it's based on the Aboriginals in Canada, and it's also the African Americans in America. I'm hearing a dog or something. I don't know what's going on. Sorry. Okay, infant mortality rate versus the national rate is 2.3 times. In Canada and in America is 2 times for African Americans. Life expectancy in years. So the Aborigines is 72.8. So at 73 years, that's the average rate. In America, it's 74.9, so 75 years. The life expectancy versus the national average is 91%. And in America, it's 95%. I'm not exactly sure what that means. 91% of what? So, I don't know. You guys have to see. There's a lot of dog barking. Like, I don't know if those are feral dogs or something. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know why those dogs are barking. But you know what? A lot of times when dogs bark, like in the middle of the night, they hear a fire or they can feel an earthquake or something coming on. There's a lot of dogs. I've never heard so many dogs barking so late at night. Something is going on outside. Okay. The dropout rate. All right. So in Canada with the Aboriginals, it's 23%. In America with African Americans, it's 8%. I thought it was a lot higher. The dropout rate versus the national average is 2.7 times. And in America, it's 1.1 times, which, sorry. 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 I don't know. There's a lot of dogs barking. So, I never knew that there was an issue in Canada with Aboriginals. I didn't. I went to Toronto once and I had a good time. Although I was stopped at the airport and I went through 3 sets. First you go through the one that you give your passport. I was coming from Jamaica. And then I went to another room. And then I went to the back room where the guards have the big guns or whatever. Yeah. Though they don't stamp passports, they arrest people or body search them or whatever. But God, they were handsome. Jesus, who those guards were? I was like, I want him to search me. This lady was like, oh my God, this is serious. Serious about what? I didn't know it was illegal to travel. I ain't got nothing on me. I don't partake in anything like that. But anyway, so, I'm going to have to look into that. Because there's a lot going on in Canada, and it's hidden. So we need to investigate this, people. I'm going to have to keep my eyes open to articles and read a little about that. Because, everyone's like, oh, I'm going to Canada. If Trump gets, remember that? If Trump gets elected, I'm moving to Canada. I'm moving to Africa. Ain't nobody moved anywhere. And well, I guess we should have, but everybody else is screwed up too, so I don't know. Okay, so let's go to Cuba. Cuba has gone a week without a single death. 1 week without a single death. So Cuba has 1,900 cases and 79 deaths. I do not know how many people have recovered, but that's really low. I don't know the population in Cuba. We can find out though. Yes, we can, honey. We can find out. Let me see. Get this other phone popping, baby. I should have used my iPad. But let me see if I can quickly. Let me see. Cuba, because I was just looking up. Hold on. Let me see. Cuba population. Let me see. Oh. They have 11 million? The current population of Cuba is 11 million. That's a lot of people. I don't know. So out of 11 million people, only 1,900 cases and 79 deaths. Now, I'm not saying, that 79 deaths is not a lot. Excuse me. Okay, that's why I gotta hurry up. But that's pretty good. But Cuba's doctors have been issued out to other countries. I'm hearing a sound over here. I don't know what's going on, but 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't like that. But anyway, so the country will remain locked down until June. And I'm kind of sad about that because I really kind of wanted to go. But when in June? Because my birthday is at the end of June. So I really am crossing my fingers, hoping that they will reopen so I can go for my birthday because the flights are really cheap. Okay, let's get to Brazil. I know what I put. Mandatory deaths. The president Bolsonaro is calling it a little flu, and they are using chloronique for treatment. That's all I've had. I don't know what's going on in Brazil as far as that. I don't have any numbers, and I don't know why. So that's what happens when you don't take good notes and you're trying to do a video, okay? So hopefully I will get back to you guys on Brazil. I will look up some more information and take some adequate notes so that I can give you guys a proper video, okay? Maybe not at 3 o'clock in the morning. All right, so Wuhan. So they are really on a rampage of testing everybody. Kind of late, but so I think last week they tested 467,847 people. This week they've tested 856,128 people. So they've almost doubled their testing. But they have, I know I wrote this, I think they have like 11 million people. So that's only 10%. And China has 1.4 billion people. And they're claiming, okay, so Wuhan, let me just look at this. Wuhan has 67,000 cases, 64,000 have recovered, and they claim out of 11 million people, they have 3,212 deaths. No, ain't no way in hell that they only have, out of 11 million people, they have 3,200 deaths. And China, I think China has 82,000 out of 1 billion people. 1.4 billion people, China only has 82,000 cases. 1.4 billion people, and 78,000 people have recovered, and 4,634 people have died. Out of 1.4 billion people? Are you serious, China? You guys are so full of it. Come on, we need the real numbers. Now, worldwide, there's 5.1 million cases. 1.9, almost 2 million cases have recovered, and 333 have passed away. Those numbers are not correct. There's 1.4 billion people in China, and there's no social distancing in China. I've been to China a couple of times. It is like, you think it's like New York times 500. There's just people everywhere, and you better move or lose. So there's no way that those numbers are so low in China. Although they did build a hospital in 10 days, but they're full of it. No, they are really, really full of it. Okay, let's go to South Africa. Now, in South Africa, there were 11,000. Oh my God, there were in South Africa, in the suburb, in the capital, let me see, Pretoria? I don't know if that was how you pronounce it, but there were 11,000 families stretching outside of the capital, waiting for charity food for 4 miles at 4 a.m. in the morning. The problem with this is that there's a lot of immigrants in South Africa from different, from different countries. And in order to get this food or get any help, you need an ID card. Well, a lot of these immigrants or migrants, what's the difference between migrants and immigrants? I would look it up, but I don't want, I can't. I need to get a stand. It's on this way. Anyway, they don't have a card. So the president, Cyril Ramaphosa, is that how you pronounce it? Has set aside 50 billion rand, which is $2.7 billion, to help the migrants. But again, I don't know if that would ever reach them because, again, they don't have IDs to be helped. So what are they going to do? So, people are going to starve to death. Like, this is really scary. So, you guys keep your eyes open regarding that. Okay, so this is the last story. Apparently, there's a cop or an ex-cop, Goins, who in Houston, Texas, did a raid. He was a narcotics cop. And he did a raid, and 2 people died in the raid in Harrison County. One was Dennis Tootle, and he was 59, and the other one was Regina Nicholas, and she was 58. So what Goins did was apparently got a fake warrant or claimed he had a warrant or something, and those 2 people ended up dead. It was a drug breakthrough or something that went bad. There were some other cops that got hurt and all that. So now they found out that he's considered a dirty cop. So they have dropped 91 drug cases in the Houston area, and actually 164 cases that he was the only witness. How was he the only witness in 164 cases? Like, is he like the only narcotics cop in Houston? What's the cop with the movie with Denzel Washington? What's the one? Oh my goodness, like really? Now this is a black man. Oh yes, this is a black man. So he was a narc, he was a dirty cop, and he literally jailed 164 people. So 73 cases have been thrown out, and there's an additional like 94 cases that, still that may be thrown out too. Never trust anyone. But my thing is how is it that he was the only narc cop? So what about the other narcotics, police, DEA, whatever? Like, everyone can be dirty. Now, I'm not saying that, there's not illegal drug traffic in Houston. Actually, that corridor in Texas, there is a lot of drugs that are going from Florida through Atlanta up to Houston, through Mexico and all that, down on that lower end. How do I know that? Because one of my exes was a truck driver, and he took me on a a cross-country trip from California to Florida. And he told me a lot about the road. He's been on the road for about 20 years. 20 or 30 years, I think. Yeah, about 30 years. So he knows everything, like he's a guru truck driver, and just I learned a lot. I did 2 cross-country trips with him, and then we broke up. That's another thing. So, yeah. Goins, who is 55, claimed that he had obtained a warrant, and he didn't. He didn't. So I guess that investigation with 2 people dying, and the family are going after him, opened up a can of worms. And now, Goins is not in jail though. No. He's out on bail. And apparently he's going to have a court jury or something like that. He's going to be tried or something. He goes to court in October, but his attorney is claiming that this didn't even go to a grand jury. So his attorney is saying that he's being overcharged. But when you have 164 cases and you were the only witness, nah, buddy. I'm not saying that, yeah, I am saying you dirty. You dirty. You're real dirty. I'm not saying that there's not people who are not, illegally doing drugs or dealing them or whatever the case is, but you're dirty, because there ain't no way in hell that you can be the only witness in 164 cases. But my thing is this: what the hell was the chief of police doing, or whoever is the head of the narcotics division? Like, how are you putting one person in this many situations? 164, and he's the only witness? Come on. No. See, in situations like that, he's not the only dirty one. He's just the only dirty one that got caught. Okay? Now, he's 55. So, how many drug deals can you do? Like, I know I've seen a lot of movies, but come on. 164 cases? Hell no. I gotta go, y'all. You guys have a great day, great evening, great life, whatever, and stay safe, okay? Bye.